I'm Danny, also known around here as the Soggy Boggy Witch. It is barely 10 a.m. and it's 90 degrees outside. I don't do well in the heat at all. I have autoimmune disorders up the wazoo. I am not doing great. I'm sitting right now, but I wanted to do this video today to talk a little bit about summer treats and keeping our chickens cool in the summer, because people often ask this question when they're new to chickens: how do I keep them cool in the summer? And I see a lot of people doing stuff that is just not necessary. If you want to spoil your chickens, that's your prerogative, but let me just tell you, it's not necessary, okay? Let's start off with a few things. Number one, if you aren't getting breeds that are appropriate for your climate, I can see wanting to do a little more extra than usual. But a really good tip if you're just getting started is, if you don't want to be doing crazy drastic things due to temperatures fluctuating, get breeds that do well in your climate. Most chickens can do pretty well in most climates. Silkies have a harder time in summer because, in hotter climates like mine, because they go broody all the time. The second their body temperature rises, they're like, oh, I want babies. I have, I'll get into that. We have a broody right now. You'll see. Miss Karen laid an egg 10 minutes ago and she's still very excited about it. Anyway, before we get too much into it, I'm going to tell you a couple things I didn't while I was making the rest of this video. One, shade and cool water to drink are really all they need. Fresh, cool water, okay? You don't want to be attracting mosquitoes, you don't want to be making your chickens sick. Change out their water frequently. You can put ice in it if you want, that's totally fine. Some people like to put pools out, like shallow pools with some cold water in it for their chickens to just go stand in, because they use their feet and legs to regulate their body temperature. That's why having proper roosts is really important, because they need to be able to, that's one of the ways that they regulate their temperature. Okay, where was I? ADHD. Cool water, they can stand it. My chickens hate that, and we raise chicks almost every spring and I'm afraid they'll drown, so I don't do that. None of my chickens have ever wanted to do that. But some people do, and that's fine. If you can do that, there's nothing wrong with that. You're keeping your chickens cool. But they really are, unless you're reaching temperatures in like 110 range, they don't usually need much more than shade and fresh water. However, I see people put out misting sprayers. Here are my thoughts on that. These are only my thoughts and opinions. I can't bring myself to waste water like that. I live in a desert. We're in a huge, serious, major drought. We just had the hottest spring on record, and this summer is promising to do the same. I am frying out here. Oh my God. It's really bad when you have autoimmune disorders that make you get really dizzy in the heat, because I'm sitting here and I want to go inside under my fan in an air-conditioned room, but I can't get up at the moment or I'll pass out. Anyway, so it's not, again, unless you're in a place like I can see in Arizona, maybe, we're not quite that bad where we are, having, during the hottest couple hours of the day, having some sort of way to cool the area. I personally have actually run my sprinkler for like, I have a food forest you'll see in this video, and I will run the sprinkler in it so that it goes out several feet now, so that it cools the ground all around it. And I've got really tall clover, and the chickens like to go lay in it to stay cool. So that is, and because the ground under it is wet, it helps it stay cool under there. That's one of the reasons we're growing this food forest and sunflower garden right now, is to give them even more shade in a way that helps to cool it even further with the evaporation process. So I just can't waste water misting my chickens like that. I I can't do it, and I would highly encourage you to try to find a different method if you're able to, just because this world is quickly running out of the water that humans need and animals need to survive. So, that being said, let's look at some treats and what we're doing right now to keep our girls cool. Now, making treats for your chickens is fine. Giving your chickens treats sometimes is fine. We don't want to be giving our chickens nothing but treats. We don't want to be filling their guts up with treats. Oh, my little Miss Karen just laid. Yeah, good job, babe. I'm so proud of you. But yeah, so these treats, what I like to do is I'll take scraps of food that I know are safe for chickens that we're not going to be eating and that aren't worth putting in the fridge as leftovers. So like if there's a little bit of rice left, or if there's just a little bit of vegetable left, or a little bit of chicken, I make sure that there aren't ingredients that are bad for chickens. And then I will do one of two things. I'll combine them with eggs and oats and maybe a little bit of flour and bake them, or I will freeze them. And I'm actually going to start experimenting with baking and then freezing. I think that's going to work better in the summertime. Their frozen treats can get kind of gross. But they are protein rich, and this particular batch I chose on purpose because some of my ladies, like Mr. Arnold here of Jurassic Park fame, are just starting to lay. Now this is a silky egg, so you can see it's very tiny because she's a very tiny chicken. But right now they are laying the same eggs, and I'm going to pop a picture in here right now of one of the tiny blue dinosaur eggs because they're just darling. I also make sure you're providing plenty of, so we're talking about treats, but we're also talking about like specifically for summer. Fruit, fresh fruit is great for chickens. Make sure it's a fresh fruit that is safe for chickens because there are some that are not. But just keep two things in mind. One, that's a lot of calories. We want our girls to be healthy. They do still need protein. They still need vitamins that they're not going to get just from fruit. So don't overdo it. And it's going to make them have runny poos. Be aware of that. Now, back here, my husband's getting our little jail ready because we have a broody. You can see my little chickies, babies here. I do have one who's injured at the moment. Hi, love. So we're making sure she stays nice and cool. We have lots of shade set up. It's kind of a mess at the moment. My husband broke his back and I have diverticulitis, so it's a mess at the moment, but it's what we could do. So we have these shade cloths up, multiple places, stations we call them, to get water. Our broody jail is going to be outside under the shade, and we're going to be throwing ice and ice packs in there to help cool her down because that's part of what keeps a chicken broody. They can come in their little hut. I know it's really gross. Please don't judge. I can't tell you at all. I'm not going to cry. It's been hard. Give me a second. Hi, honey. Dr. Malcolm. I know, I have one of your eggs. It's cool. Hobbs. You're getting better. I promise she's getting better. We don't actually know what happened. But she clearly either sprained her or has a simple fracture in her ankle. So she got taped up because she wanted to drag it behind her. And she's doing a lot better now. She's getting PT and extra protein treats to help her heal. Anyway, so yeah, treats are great. Make sure that they're safe. Remember what chickens need. I was saying these ladies are just starting to lay. That was the point I was trying to get to. Hello, ADHD. And so this particular batch of treats has egg in it with the shell. Really great way to get your chickens what they need to lay healthy eggs. Because yeah, their feed supplies it. People will tell you that their feed should supply everything, and that's true, but just as with humans, whole foods are also super beneficial and necessary for, in my opinion, based on the research I've done up at the Utah State University Agriculture Extension. We want to give them some fresh whole foods. So there we are. Ways to keep them cool, ways to give them treats that are safe. And join us next time at the Soggy Bog. One more thing I wanted to touch on because it's important, but again, ADHD. Wow, it's really bad today. Oh, okay, fans and air conditioning. There are some people who have fans and air conditioners to keep their coops cool. We have a battery operated, well, like, it uses charging bricks. We have a camping fan in our coop just to keep air moving. There are a couple of things you need to keep in mind if you want to do something like that. Number one, a fan overhead is fine. Ventilation is very important. Air conditioning is a little overboard, mostly because just like why you don't want to have heat lamps in your coop in the winter, not just the fire hazard, but your chickens acclimate to that. And if your electricity goes out, suddenly they are being faced with temperatures in their coop that they are not used to while they're trying to sleep, while they're trying to lay eggs, whatever the case may be. Also, you don't want your chickens hanging out in the coop all day. You don't. I know a lot of people who don't do chicken stuff don't know this. Chickens are not supposed to live in the coop. The coop is for sleeping and laying eggs. That's a different video for a different day, but just a little note on that. Okay. You tell them, Karen.